Wunderbar, die Deutsche sind da, but standing in the way are the Danes, that's right. Will they frustrate Germany once again like they did in 1992? We're going to get into it, all of it, next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match preview video. Today it's all about last 16 encounter with the hosts, my boys, the Deutsche, Germany, up against the Danes. Again, they share a bloody border, geographical neighbours. Of course, can of course the Germans or the Danes secure their spot in the quarterfinals? We'll get into it, all of it, in a second. Of course, if you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe button. Your one-stop shop for Germany, for Denmark, for Euro 2024 is right here under One Ruski, of course. Now, these two are familiar foes, and we'll showcase that in a minute. But, of course, we want 50 likes on these videos if you can. That would be absolutely fantastic. But let's remind ourselves how we got to this stage. First and foremost, let's take a look at the Germans. Of course, qualified as hosts. They've been here. Secured that title way back in the 27th of September 2018, 6 years ago, give or take. They've been here 13 times in the past. Of course, previous winners, and of course now under the young coach, Julian Nagelsmann. Starman, Jamal Musiala, has lived up to that speculation, and of course got himself a couple of goals to his name so far. They were in Group A, where they had odds at 5-2 on to win the group, and 20-1 on to qualify, and odds of 6-1 to lift the trophy. Now those odds have actually shrunk a little bit, 9-2. But of course, my expectation is that they will become the winners of Euros at the end of this. But they need to up their game from their last performance, which was a bit of a shambles against the Swiss. However, Germany, if we turn the clock back to opening day, big 5-1 win over the Scots, a 2-0 win, business-like performance against Hungary. But then a little bit of pressure on the Germans there, 1-0 down to the Swiss. It wasn't going to be the end of the world if we were to lose, but it did show another side of Germany with that important equaliser, which ensured that they topped the group, which of course ensured this passage, which does look tricky. Now, of course, when you do look at the full bracket, whenever it comes official, you will see that Germany and the Danes are in what they say a difficult side of the draw, which is true. But regardless, if you're going to become champions, you want to know that you beat the best. As well as the rest. So let's not, you're going to have to play a France or a heavyweight along the way. So let's make it happen. But first and foremost, Germany has to take care of business against Denmark. Now, these are the guys that are going to be called upon, of course, including the likes of Neuer, Mittelstadt there. We got Kroos, Musiala, Gudongenen, Kai Havertz, Füllkrug. Will he get a start? Thomas Muller, will he get a start? Well, according to me, this is my 11 for this game. And it is Neuer, Mittelstadt, Rüdiger, Tah, Kimmich, Musiala, Kroos, Gudongenen, Andrich, Wirtz, Havertz. Opting for that for the start. Of course, then you got the super sub Füllkrug, who of course saved our bacon. And speaking of bacon, here is Danish, and of course their bacon. They qualified as Group H winners. They secured their spot 17th of November 2023. Been in 9 times in the past, of course, former winners. Kasper Højlund is the manager with the starman Rasmus Højlund, with of course Group C, their venue, which they did qualify as runners-up. 4-1 to win the group, 3-1 on to qualify to win the whole thing, 40-1. The Danes have drifted now to 66-1. I think more purely because of the path that they have here. My expectation was the last 16. Guess what? They are here. They've made the last 16, so a pat on my back for that. Now, guess what? This is their resume so far in what ended up being one of the most boring groups in European football history. Of course, Group C, with only 1 win between 6 games. That came from England beating Serbia. But Slovenia and Denmark, they do out to a draw. And then, of course, the Danes saved themselves again against England with a draw, and again couldn't break the Serbs down, 0-0 in the end. So resolute maybe at the back, little toothless going forward, but they are here, and of course they're here as Group C runners-up. Let's take a look at the key personnel then for the Danes, with the Kasper Schmeichel between the sticks, Kajar at the back. We got Mæhle, we got Bach, Delaney, Eriksson, Hulsmann, with that record, that banging goal. Dolberg, Jonas Wind, Poulsen, of course, some familiar names from, of course, competitions gone by. But this is my 11 for the Danes. That's right. We've got Schmeichel, Andersen, Vestergaard, Kajar, Mæhle on the left, Bar on the right, Holsberg, Eriksson, Norgard, Højlund, Rasmus there, and Jonas Wind. That's right. That's my 11 for the Danes. But what about the game itself? Now, stretching all the way back to, of course, that game back in 1992. These two nations have played each other 6 times, with Germany just winning 1 of them, the Danes winning 2 of them, and there's been 3 draws between the two sides. But they will lock horns over at the BVB Stadium in Dortmund on the 29th of June. All eyes on this one. Nagelsmann against Hulsmann in the dugouts, with the Germans posting an 83% ratio at the moment, form-wise, unbeaten in the last 6 games. The Danes, 75% form for them, also unbeaten at least the last 6 games. However, 3 draws in a row. The most recent match between these two sides was a draw. Also, in fact, the last 2 have ended up all square between these two sides. In fact, the last 3 of the last 4 have ended up all square between these two sides. So it is just like the other last 16 game confirmed, the Swiss and the Italians. It's very even Stevens between these two sides. However, Germany do boast the most recent victory against each other, and that was a 2-1 win way back in June 2012. But of course, this rivalry of sorts did start all the way back in the final of Euro 1992, where the Danes, who were guest nation, surprise nation to be in the tournament in 1992, came out and won the whole bloody thing back in June 1992, beating the Germans 2-0 in the final. A special day for the Danes, something that we'd all like to revisit ourselves. So take a look at the bookies odds then. We have Germany 20-13 on for the victory, the Danes 9-2 for the victory, and 29-10 is the draw. The public vote also backs the Germans, 80% of the vote. It is still early with the vote, 20% have gone with the Danes. But what about me? I'm rocking the German shirt. Now, Germany opened up the tournament in as the best possible way, with a demolition job of the Scots. They then took care of business against Hungary, but their performance level against the Swiss was a little bit sloppy. So they need to bounce back and bounce back fast. The Danes, of course, haven't really kicked into top gear. I'm trying to think, did they take the lead against Slovenia? Regardless, the lack of goal contribution is concerning for the Danes, but they're a business-like team. They're a frustrating side. And if this game does go beyond 90 minutes, I'm going to start to believe that the Danes could cause an upset. But getting to that point is massive. I think Germany will break down the deadlock, though, of this Danish defence. It's going to be the first, don't get no disrespect to Germany or their opposition. I think this is going to be a real challenge for them. It's going to be an organised team in the Danes, and it could be the start of a very difficult run to hopefully a final for the Germans. But they will get it right first time around at the Dortmund Stadium, the BVB Stadium in Dortmund. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win, which will secure passage through to the quarterfinals. It will send the Danes home, but unfortunately, that will be it. The Germans will continue, the Danes will go home. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this one as we look forward to it. And of course, we look forward to those quarterfinals with one of these nations set to be in there. But until then, subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. But until then, guys and girls, we are done.